Japan's tiniest apartment. Okay.
Inside, but you have to see this building from the outside to truly appreciate it at scale.
Why is it so
Because this
thin?
here, that is the entire.
Yo, what the fuck? This is so thin. It's like
building.
freaking
That's the whole
paper,
thing.
bro.
It is 5 floors of triangular goodness. It's
5
essentially
floors?
like living in a Toblerone bar. And just for a little bit of perspective, here is the width of the building's edge contrasted against.
Yo, it's the width of a human.
Quite a sight to see. Let's head inside and take a peek because it's not just a triangle from the outside, and it has a handful of small problems aside from the shape that make it a massive challenge to live in. The area is beautiful, by the way. It's at this 5-point crossing in the Nerima area of Tokyo, but our
Yo, it's at the fucking corner, bro. If any car accident comes along the way, bam, this whole building, it's gone, bro. It's gone.
first major challenge today is going to be this stairwell. Aside from the lack of vertical clearance and proper width to be able to get through here, the stairs themselves are actually incredibly narrow and shallow.
It looks new though.
Hold on to this center pole basically the entire time I'm going up just for safety. And amazingly, every single unit here is occupied except for the one that we're checking out today. I have been waiting a year for this, and a real estate friend of mine who runs a YouTube channel of his own, I'll link it, hooked me up with the keys today, so huge gratitude. Wow. Okay, so there's just about enough space to take off my shoes. There it opens into a kitchen area, and I have questions about the shower area here. Mostly on account of this door height, but let's take a peek.
Yo, you have to talk to get in.
Okay, close the door, and I basically take up the entire space.
Where do you pee?
Shower space. It's pretty much
In the shower?
everything that you need. It's got a shower right here, and it's got a bath that I'm really wondering if I would even fit in. Okay, so curiosity's getting the better of me, and I have to know if I would fit in the bath, and that is actually not a bad bath.
This is a depression bath.
You could. The hermit I stayed with in the mountains had a smaller bath than this. Then he had an entire house to himself, and as an added bonus, you've got a window.
He had to cry out.
Yeah, no matter how small
What
your
the
place is,
fuck?
a bath with a window is always nice. And there's a little. Can you call this a kitchen space? Barely enough space to stand here, but you have a tiny sink with no counter, a single induction heater. This little fridge here, if you're lucky, might just be big enough to fit a single iPhone.
Bro, how are you gonna pee? How are you gonna put your groceries? And how are you gonna cook food? That is not enough.
It fits. We'll talk about this magical little device in a second, but the room itself does not look like this. It doesn't look like this either, or this, or even this. And punching the lens in only makes it smaller and worse. The only way to really understand this place is to look at it from above. My hands can touch both sides. I have seen pictures of this place, but nothing compares to seeing
What
this
is the
in
rent?
person and just how tiny this room is. For perspective, if I were to be in here wearing my backpack, or if there were a sofa, there would barely be enough space
no way.
to fit one, maybe two more people.
No way.
You know, what are the measurements? Now the floor plan for this says that you're getting over 11 square meters, but I'm wondering how much space do you really have? Front to back, side to side, the widest space that you're getting in any direction is just over 2.5 meters. But it makes me wonder where I would put anything. Where would you put anything?
8.2 feet?
Instead of a bed, you'd most likely be using a futon, and then you would store it in this closet here. But do you really even need the closet? Or do you feel it's just taking up valuable space in the apartment? It does have a hanging rack so you could hang clothes on it and whatnot, but it is rather
This better be
large,
cheap as fuck.
and this place also has a lot of the other minor amenities that you would need. On this side of the room, you have a hookup for TV reception, but if you want to plug it in, the plug for some reason is on the other side of the room, and the room gives you a total of 2 whole plugs. So you could plug 2 things in if you want to. And there's a hookup for telephone and internet here that should never be touched. So we're gonna put that back, and we'll pretend that that's fine. And as pretty as it looks, none of the brick here is real. These are sponge bricks from the dollar store, and if you
Bro,
look
one
real
car
carefully,
accident, this
is
whole
actually
building
brick
falls.
wallpaper. Mind you also do have an in-window air conditioner. This style of air conditioner is fairly rare in Japan. They're usually mounted up top, and this here is a hookup for fiber optics. So you've got all the internet you would need. Mind you, in Japan, Wi-Fi modules are everywhere. The biggest problem with this place so far is just the noise. It's actually taken me a really long time to shoot this because this is one of the main streets of this area, and it is just filled with bikes and trucks and garbage trucks and stuff going through it all hours. This is probably so far the single noisiest apartment that I've had the opportunity to experience in Japan.
Wouldn't there be a lot of car accidents?
Some people just aren't that bothered by the noise, especially considering the fact that the rent here is unbelievably cheap at only about 40,000 yen per month. I also love how both of
How
the
much is that in
windows and
USD?
balconies have these, I can't fit through this window. Have these little cover thing. I don't know what it's for. It's not actually covered by anything, but it's wonderful. And since we're on the outside edge of Tokyo, a lot of the buildings out here are much lower, and the view is quite nice.
Wait, let me search it
And
up.
these here look like you'd be able to hang poles on them for your laundry. But
Wait, this is only 270 a month?
I'm very stuck. But you may have also
Wait,
noticed
that's not
that there's
bad.
no toilet inside the apartment. I was actually warned, by the way,
It's not that bad.
to approach any of the residents of this building. We'll cover that in a second. And I also
Wait,
wanted
why?
to show you this, which is apparently
Is it for
portable
privacy?
washing machine, which can wash up to 1 t-shirt or 3 pairs of socks, maybe 4 if you're lucky. Didn't even know stuff like that existed. Learning every day. The toilet is actually out here. We've actually got to go to the
You
front
pee
door,
outside?
put your shoes back on, and then your toilet is going to be right here. Now, luckily, each floor or unit does have their own toilet space. It is not a shared toilet situation, but here's what it looks like. Now, the door itself doesn't
It doesn't even open!
all the way, and this is your toilet space.
The tip of the
That
triangle.
is basically the entire thing. You have a little sink on top, but standing up inside may be a challenge for some people. And let's watch the claustrophobics freak out when we close the door.
Yo, if you're claustrophobic,
That's-
dog, you're
That is
done.
the entire toilet space. And with limited ventilation, it does get very hot in here. It's not the kind of place that you would want to be in the depths of summer. But as for, let me get
That's
out of here.
crazy.
It's really warm. But as for those warnings that I got, now, I've only ever gotten a warning like this one time before, and it was when I shot a video about a $100 apartment here in Tokyo, and I was recommended just not to approach the residents because they may not be friendly, welcoming, or even want to talk. And here, I wasn't really given a reason. They were like, it's probably a good idea if you just don't approach the residents. Mind you, this building itself is actually fairly well known. The sign is kind of blocked right now, but it's called the Sankaku Biru, or Triangle. It's literally called the Triangle Building. So my assumption was that they've just gotten too much media attention because it is a fairly well-known building. But when I asked, they were like, no, that's not why. You just probably shouldn't. I'm so curious.
That's so sus.
What do you think it could be? Why should I not approach the residents? Alright, I actually just made my way up to the 5th floor, and the door here is off of its hinges, and it seems like the apartment inside has been completely abandoned. I think I'm gonna use a 360 and get a bit of a peek.
Can he do? Isn't that illegal? Ew.
That is wild, and it's a little bit unfortunate because this seems to be the only unit that actually has a balcony as well. That is trashed. That's too bad.
What the
But
fuck,
would you
bro?
live
That's a
here? Would
crack
you live
addict
in this
apartment,
tiny
bro.
triangle apartment, weirdly shaped. People always ask me if I would, and my first apartment in Japan was way smaller than all of this. I also did not have a kitchen. I spent most of my time out of the house anyway, and I didn't really own anything since it was my first year in Japan. So yes, I would 100% live here. But what about you? I was leaving and looked back, and if you take a look at the plot of land that it's on, they've taken this really narrow plot of land and just squeezed a ton
Wait,
of real
that's
estate
so
right into
small.
this tiny little space. Like, they even have their own parking space. Japan, you always impress me with how you utilize your land.
That's so
That's
small.
amazing. Okay, going down these stairs feels 10 times more dangerous than going up. This does not feel safe. The peak. Oh, I nailed my head going in. Did the same thing
must
like
hurt.
6 times on the stairs. Oh my god, it got really hot in here while I was shooting that and I wasn't expecting it and I'm just...
Yo, he is sweating.
Need the air conditioner now.
What the fuck?